Mm. Mm-hmm. It is as good as I remember it. Mm-hmm. From a month ago.
Nice. That's so nice.
Hello, beautiful people! So, today you're gonna join me to make a simple chili recipe. It is super versatile. We're gonna have so much going on in our lives for the next couple days, so we need something that we can come home, throw in the pan, and make it into whatever we want. We're gonna make hot dogs, chili dogs, nachos, rice and chili. The list goes on. So I think this is the best way for us to go for the next couple days on what we're gonna eat, and I want you to join me to make it, because I'm thinking this is something that multiple people are probably gonna need in their daily lives, their busy lives, and it's something that you can freeze for quite a long time and it comes out tasting even better. Who would have guessed? So join me while I make this. So to start this process, we're gonna go ahead and cook our chorizo. I've chosen chorizo just for the flavor and the color that it will add to it. You can have mushrooms, you can put it as bacon, you can change it to whatever you actually want. You can make it vegetarian if you want and not put in any of the meat and just use the tomato, maybe beans, maybe mushrooms. But this is a meat-loving family, so I added the chorizo. Okay, so now that they've released some more of their oils, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in the onions, jalapeños, and garlics that I've cut up earlier. I want to put these in before the chorizo has finished cooking because it's going to continue to cook while these are in there. This is a one-pot wonder, so you just continue to add flavors and layer the flavors and let them all cook cohesively and meld their flavors together throughout the time being. So we're gonna let these onions wither with the chorizo and then come back. Okay, so now that our onions have withered and become nice and fragrant, I'm gonna add in our ground beef and pork mixture. And again, one pot wonder, continue to layer the ingredients. The ground beef will soak up all the prior ingredients of the chorizo and the onion and the jalapenos, and it will come together so nicely. So for this, you want to just cook it until everything turns brown, as we all know, before you begin adding the following ingredients. Okay, so now that our ground beef and pork is cooked, we can go ahead and start doing the fun part, adding all the other flavors. This is a dish that's very much trust the process, because at the beginning it's going to look very odd, very weird, but at the end it's going to be so nice, so good, and so delicious. So we're going to start off with our beans, mix those through nicely. And then we'll move on to our crushed tomatoes with the liquid, because in this dish we won't be adding like water to try and give it liquid. We're going to use all the liquids from the ingredients that we will be putting in it. That will give us the moisture that we need, along with having the flavors of the ingredients. Something I do like to add is the juice from the jalapenos that I put in earlier. So I'll just trickle a little bit of that in here as another layer of flavors. So we'll let this cook for a little, maybe 2 minutes as is, and then we will start seasoning it. So now that I've let this come together for about 2 minutes, I'm gonna start seasoning, and I'll put the list of seasonings below. This is very much a taste as you go type of meal. So it will all be to your liking. Taste it, add your salt, add your pepper, add whatever you feel like it would need on top of whatever I put in the description. And go from there. This I will usually let boil for about 30 minutes before I even think about putting it on a plate to eat. So I'm going to let it do that. This is something that you want to keep an eye on. Stir maybe every 5 minutes just to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom and that everything is coated in this beautiful liquid that was made from the other ingredients. Another ingredient that I like to add if I have it on hand is like the butt end of a piece of cheese that I used. So within the 30 minutes, it will end up melting into the sauce, not making it as cheesy as you would think, where it's stringy and everything, but give it that additional flavor, give it a little more thickness, and you just leave it right there in the middle and come back and stir, like I said, every 5 minutes. So the flavors will change as you leave it to reduce, which is why I don't like to add all of the seasoning at the beginning, because it will reduce and the salts will concentrate, and I don't want to make it too salty from the get-go because later on it's going to be inedible. So I just tasted it. It's been about 20 minutes, and I'm going to add a little more salt in there because it's not to my liking yet, and we'll go from there. So this meal, one pot wonder, easy meal. If you don't have the time to come back every 5 minutes to stir it, it is super forgiving. You can turn your stove down. I turn it down to about 2 or a 1, depending on how long I'm gonna be away from the stove, and come back maybe every 20 minutes. This is a meal that you can leave on the stove for 1 hour, 2 hours, and it will just keep getting better the longer you leave it here. It is also an amazing meal the next day. It's a great leftover meal because the fridge gives it more time overnight to continue to meld the flavors. So like I said, you put it in the freezer and it comes out as if you made it the same day. It's so delicious even after the fridge and the freezer. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, but my sauce has gotten thicker than at the beginning of the video. If you want to go back and see how it's gotten a lot thicker, it used to be very liquidy. And this is the result of adding that butt end of the cheese that, let me see if I can find it, is right here. Adding the butt end of the cheese did not make it all slimy and stringy as you would think a cheese would do. Instead, I used it as a thickener of my sauce, which makes the chili feel really come out of it. So if you do have that, I do recommend it. Buy a piece of cheese, cut off the butt end, throw it in here. Whatever you need to do to get this wonderful texture that I have here. So I'm gonna let this cook for maybe another 20 minutes and come back for plating. So it is cooked. I've made the executive decision of putting rice with it, and I've tried to make it into this cute little bowl shape. We're gonna see how this holds up. So this is the final product. It holds together, but yet still has a sauce to it. So he's very anxious to taste. I'm so sorry. So we'll go ahead. Oh, the little bowl works perfectly. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. Make a nice little mountain. I'll go ahead and switch plates with you. This is so exciting. I usually make a big enough batch to last 3 to 4 days. This one didn't end up doing that because I didn't add enough tomato to it. But the more ingredients obviously that you add, the longer or the bigger batch you'll make and the longer it will last you. The rest of this will end up going in the freezer so that we can eat it again tomorrow or the next day depending on how we're feeling. I'm gonna add a little bit more to mine. There we go. Huh? Beautiful. Beautiful mound. The hole is making it all nice and proper. I'm gonna go ahead and move this out of our way and not get it on my sweater. You
Yeah,
ready?
I'm ready to cheers. I've been waiting.
Cheers, baby.
Cheers.
Mm. Mm-hmm. It is as good as I remember it. Mm-hmm. From a month ago.
Nice. That's so nice.
It's hearty, it's easy, one pot meal. It's very forgiving. You can do it in whatever order you'd like to do it in, and it will work out every time. Just leave it on the stove, let it cook on low heat, let it do its thing, and you have a hearty meal at the tip of your fingers.
And it's so versatile as well. We've done this in like sandwiches, we've done like chili dogs. That was my first time trying it.
Exactly.
Which I was also very hyped about.
So we'll put all of that into the description.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burritos as well. Good idea.
Those
You
were
mentioned
good.
quesadillas.
Those were really good. So all of the things that you can do with this will go down into the description so that you can pick and choose, have different dinners, and put this in the freezer and have them at whatever point you want. So, cheers to you. Ha det
Cheers.
bra!
Ha det bra.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.